Good day again, no? My students. No? This is actually the second of the three parts regarding the module 5.1 and 5.2, entitled On the Constitution and the Rights of the People. Anyway, this is already posted as your module activity. And this time we'll be discussing, deepening on the details and the concept on the Constitution and the rights of the people. I haven't posted a questions regarding the democratic ideals and values. So I will be joining the questions from the 5.1 and the 5.2. So after this discussion on this topic, I will be posting now a combined number of questions on the democratic ideas and values, and in this topic on the Constitution and the rights of the. Okay, are you ready? Of course, we have to deal with the target first. Um, the after the class or after the discussion or watching this video presentation, you will be able to map out. That is number one. You will be able to map out the context and rationale of rule of law, particularly on of the Constitution and the democracy. So it matters between the Constitution and the democracy. How important is the Constitution under the democratic rule in the country? Number two, examine and apply the essential elements of a democracy. So we tend to question what makes the Philippines as a democratic country. That's on the number two targets. Number three, we are going to critically evaluate the democratic status of the Philippines. So we will be having an activity regarding evaluating how Philippines possesses democratic, democratic practices. Okay. Of course, we have to exercise first. No? You know what is gibberish? No, you are going to to guess the gibberish being provided, no, on the screen, like in this example, no. Thumb as abs. So giving you the clue, in order to preserve oneself, people entered into a social contract to give up some of their freedom and give away for security. So in a nutshell, who states that in order to preserve oneself, must be entered into a social contract. Thumb as abs. Counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anyway, this is just a practice. So the answer is Thomas Hobbes. So Thomas Hobbes actually stated that in order to preserve oneself, people entered into a social contract. Just like uh, the explanation of Jean-Jacques Rousseau and John Locke, the social contract. Thomas Hobbes. Next is next gibberish is move oak, break sea. By its clue, it's a rule or domination by the masses, or many people actually leaders in this particular governmental system. On the count of 5, you can answer. Anyway, you can write your answer on the chat box, or maybe you can write your answer in the paper. So by counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, what's the answer? The answer is mobocracy. Mobocracy is a rule or domination by the masses. So maraming nagiging ano rito, maraming nagbibigay ng opinion, maraming nagiging leader. So in different in a nutshell, this is Magulo ito, no? Ang daming leaders, ang daming opinions, ang daming system. So that is a mobocracy. Next. Next GBR is G in, Jacks, row. So, 2, the leader should only be representative of the general will. So it speaks on the collective will of the citizen body taken as a whole, and the general will is the source of law and is willed by each and every citizen. By the count, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Actually, Jean-Jacques Rousseau is opposing, no, Thomas Hobbes. Very contrary to the system. Si Thomas Hobbes kasi, sabi niya, meron siyang nag-isang leader. Okay? And this is very lenient to king and queens, the monarchs, but Jean-Jacques Rousseau, sabi niya, leaders must be selected. Okay? Must be represented by the people. Yun ang sinasabi ni Jean-Jacques Rousseau. But same, they are explaining the social contract on a different leadership. Okay? Next. Next gibberish is uphold and protect. So the clue is filling in the blanks on the statement below. The purpose of the government and law is to blank and blank the natural rights of men. So long as the government fulfills this purpose, the laws given by it are valid and binding. But when it ceases to fulfill it, the laws would have no validity on the government and can be thrown out of power. By the count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, what's the answer? Uphold and protect. So that fills the blank, no? So the purpose of the government and law is to uphold and protect the natural rights of. So kapag hindi raw yan na fulfill o hindi sa system ng isang government hindi raw yan binded, manatili na lang sana siyang walang government o kaya mawala ang government kung hindi kayang i-uphold and protecting the natural rights of men. That's in the module 5.5, 5.2. Okay, next question. Gene, roll, fill. Again, filling in the blanks. According to Rousseau, authority should reside to the people, not a ruler. The leader should only be representative of this gibberish. By the count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have you written your answer? Or do you have it in your mind? The answer is, of course, general will. According to Rousseau, the authority should reside to the people, not a ruler. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. The president or the leadership of in a system, in a governmental system, must be selected. Just like in the democracy, it must be elected by the people, not a ruler in a monarch or a king and a queen. So yun ang pagkakaiba ni Thomas Hobbes and Jean-Jacques Rousseau. But they are both social contract in a concept. The leader should only be representative of the general will. Yung kagustuhan ng tao. Okay? In general. Okay? Next, I think this is the last one. This is in reference to the highest rule or constitution as, or a clue, no one is higher than the constitution. By the count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the answer? Supreme law of the land. Okay? So no one is higher than the constitution. And it is actually called as the highest of all the laws in the land. Actually, to be shared with, no, if the politicians or the legislative member makes law, dapat hindi siya contradictory, no, to the Constitution. So kapag contradictory siya, hindi siya siguro mapapasang batas or called as unconstitutional. Okay? So it is the power of the Constitution. It is the highest. Now, now the question is, who is more powerful, the President or the Constitution? Who do you think is the most powerful? Yeah, you're correct, no? It is the Constitution because it defines and sets the making of the state, the government, and the rights of its people. In fact, the Constitution provides and limits the power of the President. So doon lang din siya nagbabase, no? Sa Constitution. Kung ano yung kanyang limitation of his power or her power, and nasusulat ito doon sa Constitution. Okay? If the limit of the tenure, no, or the years of service of the president is 6 years, 6 years lang siya. No? Hindi na siya pwedeng umulit. That's why some presidents, they try to amend the Constitution, prolonging the position, prolonging this seat of power. Kaya mas powerful ang Constitution versus the officials. Okay? Actually, when the highest court of the land, which is the Supreme Court, ruling whether an issue is constitutional or unconstitutional, it becomes the final decision. And as no one could be higher than the Constitution. Okay? Kaya pag may mga cases, if you are going to appeal, no? At natalo ka sa appeal, you can appeal it to the highest court in the land, Supreme Court. Pag sinabi ng Supreme Court, constitutional or unconstitutional, basis on their findings, that is the final decision. Kasi nagsasabi na ang Constitution tungkol doon sa pinagtatalunan. Okay? Now the question, is there a way or a process that a politician or politicians can overturn the Constitution? What do you think? Sabi ko kanina, the president has way, no, to prolong his position. So is there a way or process? What's the answer? Yeah, there is. Called as an amendment. It is a change or addition to the terms of a contract or a document. An amendment is often an addition or correction that leaves the original document substantially in. Nagbabago lang ng konti or a minor change or addition designed to improve a text piece of legislation. Pangkaraniwan ito na ginagamit sa mga batas, no, lalo sa Constitution. They wanted to prolong their or maybe their seats, or if they wanted to change the governmental system of the Philippines from a democratic or maybe presidential, changing it into parliamentary procedure, parliamentary forms of government, they can amend, they can make changes on the Constitution, called as amendments or amends. Okay? So there's a way. Yung amendments ba, good or bad? No, when the power of amendment is actually abused, there is a tendency, no, na pwedeng mabago ito, and the motives of the one who changed it may be favorably, no, sa kanila. So we have to be very careful to leaders who want to change the Constitution, telling people that it needs to change for the better. Baguhin natin to, luma na ang Constitution. Eh. Luma na ang ano. But may have some ulterior motives for themselves. Okay? So people must be vigilant in these particular moves by the politicians. President Duterte wanted to have a parliamentary forms of government. Does he have ulterior motive? What's the motive of the president? Or is it for the better? Siguro hindi na tumatalab ang democracy yung ano, no? Yung mga presidential at saka yung mga ano. For that matter, no? Called as the amendments. It can be in a good way or maybe in a bad forms. Let's move on, no? What's the importance of the Constitution in a democracy? Now, a constitution is required in democratic nations due to the 5 major reasons described below. Take note of this. Number 1, basic rules. It provides a basic set of rules which help the democracy to run. Therefore, in this way, it helps in the functioning of democracy. Kailangan merong panuntunan. Sa bahay, may panuntunan yung tatay mo na dapat sundin, no? Para mag-function yung relationship and harmony inside the house or maybe in the family. So may rules dapat. Rules must be written, formalized sometimes. Number 2, the importance of the Constitution is the statement of rights. It declares the rights of the citizens of the state over fellow nationals, government, institution, and the overall states. Kailangan yung rights, formal yan, no? Na naisusulat ito at dapat ito na-enforce. Yung human rights, etc. Yan ang magiging basehan no? Ng mga moves or the making of laws, if there are abuses among the nature of human rights, women's rights. And that's importance in democracy. Next, the duties. It clarifies the duties of the state as well as of individuals for ensuring justice towards the country made by these citizens and institutions. It clarifies what are the duties of the government, what are the duties of the president, duties of the politicians, government officials, our leaders. Kailangan nasusulat din ang mga duties and to be able to act on it. Okay? Ang tawag dyan ay TOR or the term of reference. Next is the directives. It contains information and instructions for government so that law can determine the territory of the state and the country as well as the territory or the realm of his works. Kailangan may direktiba. Ano bang move mo? Ano bang goal? Ano bang duties mo? Hanggang saan ka? Yan ang mga directives. Okay? And the last one is the citizenship. It also possesses various provisions to determine the possibility of detaining or losing the nationality of the country. Importante yan, no? Sinusulat at saad, no? Sa ligang batas, yung dapat yung sino yung citizenship, paano mawawala, paano magkakaroon. Okay? Another pa pala, no? Another set of importance. Actually, it provides such a framework to the governing body which helps them in decision making. Kailangan din may mga guidelines doon or the frameworks on how to make political decisions, economic decisions in the country. Hindi lang gusto lang magde-decide kung ano yung gusto nila, but it must be constitutional in a way. Okay? Just like the president, if he tries to declare martial law, sabi sa Constitution, wala nang declaration of martial law. No? In such cases lang, magde-declare martial law if it is emergency, in a term of national threat, security, and policy, pwede, no? Saka mahigpit na ang pagde-declare ng martial law. No? So, iniiwasan ng constitution na ito, na nakasulat sa constitution, ng presidente, ay mag-declare ng sarili niyang desisyon tungkol sa martial law. Okay? Sir, can we declare martial law in this realm of in this constitution? Yes, sinasabi, no? But it takes a process to such a president to declare a martial law. Kailangan dadaan siya sa Congress. Kailangan may pagbobotohan ng Congress yan if the president will give him the power or an emergency power in reference to martial law. Okay? So, maingat na kasi natuto tayo nung nakaraan. Another thing is it ensures the formation of a respectable relationship between the state and the citizens. Nasusulat yan sa mga policies at saka sa yung mga systems, governmental systems in a government. Na nakapaloob yan actually in the Constitution. Okay? It ensures the formation of a respectable relationship between the state and the citizens, which can promote mutual respect and trust. Next, Constitution need to be agreed upon and accepted rather than imposed. So, isinusulat din to, yung Constitution, pinag-uusapan, deliberation, is correct or not, and after that, pinagbobotohan ito ng tao. No? People must accept the written of the Constitution para mapalaganap ito. Hindi lang ito ini-impose, ito na Constitution natin. May botohan pa dyan, no? Kung tatanggipin ng tao ang isinusulat na Constitution. Tawag doon, plebiscito. People will vote yes, either yes or no, if they are going to accept or to disprove the written Constitution. Plebiscito. Handaan yan, ha? Only in this way, a nation will be in a better position to trust institutions and the Constitution. Diba? Kasi, participated ng tao sa pagdidesisyon about sa Constitution. Hindi lang yung mga gumawa nito. So, it is agreed upon and accepted rather than to be imposed to the people. Okay? That's the importance of the Constitution in a democracy. Moving on, since we're talking about Constitution, I'll be giving you, based on the Module 5.2, notable provisions in the Constitution. Actually, very relevant itong mga notable provisions kasi nakahook ito doon sa democratic personality ng the country. Kapag sinasabi ng Constitution ito, ito yung nagpapaliwanag o nagpapakita ng character ng isang democratic country. Like in the preamble, no? Sabi dito, we, the sovereign Filipino people. So doon pa lang, it is very democratic because with the word we, not I, or not only person, or not several people, but we. Anyone who reads, sinasabi pa rito, not just the Filipino people, but we are the sovereign Filipino people. May power, no? Pwede natin pamunuan yung ating government because we are the sovereign people. So, to continue reading the preamble, imploring the aid of Almighty God in order to build a just and humane society and to establish a government that shall embody our ideals and aspirations, which is actually relevant to the general will of the people. Okay? Promote common good, conserve and develop our patrimony, and secure to ourselves and our posterity the blessing of independence and democracy under the rule of law. Na may nasusulat dapat na batas. Hindi tayo chaotic, no? O kaya hindi magulo. Kailangan there is a rule of law. Sometimes the law is harsh, no? Mga ginagawa nila. Pero it is a law. To continue in a regime of truth, justice, freedom, love, equality, and peace, do ordain and promulgate this Constitution. To deepen these constitutional details, siguro it takes another subject to be able to press to press explanation, more explanation and further discussions on the Constitution. No? Eh, bahagi lang ito ng chapters, no? Hindi tayo political science subject and constitution subject. That's why you're only pressing the notable provision, which is actually relevant or in reference to the module 5, to module 5. Okay? Pero if we are having a face-to-face class, I will give this to you as assignment o kaya performance task, no? To to memorize and understand what is preamble. Isa-isahin ko sana kayo. Fortunately, face-to-face lang tayo. That's why notable provision. Okay? The preamble, we, and then embodying ideals and aspirations of the people. And merong rule of law. Yun yung mga characters ng democracy. Another is a section or an article on a declaration of principles and state policies. In section 1, sabi dito, the Philippines is a democratic and republican state. This is for the people. Sovereignty resides in the people. That's another character of democracy. And all government authority emanates from them. Ibig sabihin ang gagaling sa tao. Yung mga power nito. Still the power pa rin. Kaya dapat yung president, ang amo niyan, yung tao. Kailangan nadidinig niya yung no, general will, no? Common good. Okay? Yun ang character ng democracy. Eh. It's the country or states as the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Okay? Next. We have a separate discussion on the Bill of Rights. No? But another notable provisions in the Constitution is ito, kailangan kabisado niya to, no? Kahit hindi tayo nagpo-polsci or Constitution subject. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the law, which is the basic character of the democracy. Kanilang mga privileges, rights, the protection of rights. Kailangan hindi kinukulong, no? Walang nadideprive ng buhay, liberty, or property. Kaya paano yung nakukulong? Yun nga, without due process law. Yung mga nakulong, meron namang due process of law yun. Dumaan sa trial yun. Kaya sila na-deprive of life, liberty, no? Or property. Binibili ng government yung property mo, may due process yun. Yun sinasabi ng Bill of Rights. No person shall be deprived of life without due process of law. If there is a due process of law put into a trial, there is a due process of law. Pwede kang mawalan o ma-deprive ng life, liberty, or property. Kasi in reference to the question, bakit yung mga taong nakukulong wala silang ano? May due process. Okay? So that's it for now, no? Yun yung ano natin. The first part on the discussion regarding on the Constitution and the rights of the people. Now let's practice. No? You can write the answer again in your paper so that we can practice. Malay mo, tanungin ulit ito, no? Malay mo, ito yung ilagay ko sa ano, sa assessment, no? Ng pinag-combine na tanong ng democratic ideals and values at saka itong topic na ito. So, you can write the answer or maybe you can take a screenshot of the question para meron tayong reviewer din. So, the instruction is see what is being asked in the following numbers. And those questions to be shown here are actually referred to Module 5. Pero, hindi nyo diniscuss to, pero binasa nyo naman, di ba? Okay? So first question, it is the highest court in the land. Write your answer in your paper. Just sa practice, no? Hindi naman ito gradean or scoring points. Or maybe you can jot down in your mind, what is the highest court in the land? May binanggit ko lang kanina. Supreme Court. Okay? Kapag may mga appeal-appeal, di ba, meron kang trial, no? Trial cases dito sa regional. So, paakyat yan hanggang mag-apela ka doon sa pinakamataas, no? Supreme Court. Sana yung pinakamataas. Ewan ko kung mayroon pa, no? Siguro yung kalangitan na siguro ang maghuhusga sa'yo, no? So, kung may mas taas sa Supreme Court. Anyway, that's the form, no? It is the highest court of the land. Next, you can write the answer in your paper or you can have it in your mind. It is the branch of the government which enact or make laws. Tatlo lang naman yan eh, di ba? Alin dun? Dali, no? Parang pang grade 5. Legislative branch. Okay? Or called as the Congress of the Philippines. Sila yung gumagawa ng batas. Next, it is a doctrine of constitutional law under which branches of government are kept separate. Doktrina ito. Anong klaseng doktrinang binabanggit dito? Na yung tatlong branches of government daw ay separated by its nature. You have your answer? The answer is separation of powers. Okay? Next, it is the power of the president to disapprove bills enacted by the legislative department. Yung mga ginawang batas ng Congress. Pag ipirmahan na ng presidente yan at nakita ng presidente, this is not a valid bill or this is an unconstitutional. Nakita niya, no? Kailangan yung presidente dapat may alam din sa batas. Nakita niya, hindi pwede to. Now, he has the power to disapprove the bill. Hindi pa siya batas, eh. No? Proposal of the law lang. Bill. What's the answer? Anong power ng presidente? Veto power. Okay? Pag hindi niya nagustuhan or meron siyang nakitang butas sa ginawang batas ng Congress, pwede niyang i-disapprove yan and then ibalik sa legislative para to make amendments. Okay? So kapag ayaw talaga ng presidente, no, so merong articles na talagang pwedeng he tried to veto the veto power of the president. With the process of legislation, gagawa na lang sila ng batas tungkol. Okay? So nag-aawa yan. So, paano? Sino masusunod doon? Saan sila pupunta? Nag-aawa yung executive, yung presidente, at yung Congress. Ayaw ipasa yung batas. Sino magdi-decide? Yes, correct. Judicial branch ang magdi-decide. Sasabihin ng judicial branch, this is constitutional or unconstitutional. Gets? Makatanungin yan, ha? Next question. It is an express power of the Congress of the Philippines to formally charge a serving government official with an impeachable offense. Doon yung sagot, ano? Okay, what's the answer? Correct. Impeachment or the article of impeachment. Si ano na impeach, di ba? Oh. Sinampahan pala sa ng impeachment. Hindi natapos yung impeachment kundi nagsalita na yung tao, no? Remember the historical facts, no, regarding ERAP administration. Sinampahan ng impeachment yan, pero hindi natapos. And the people decides on the matter through EDSA again, no? Yun ang korte natin, you know? Tao. EDSA. Next, this branch of government controls the impeachment process. So dito nagsisimula. Alin sa tatlong branch na mayroong control, no? Doon sa impeachment process. Legislative Department. Okay? Pero paano kung yung ang i-impeach ay member of the Legislative Department? Sino ang mag-provide or who controls the impeachment process proceedings? Is it the President? No. Still, Legislative Department. Tandaan na. Next, this branch of government appoints government employee for life with good behavior. Pag tinalaga ka na ito, panghabang buhay na ito, kasi mamatay ka. No? Nandito ka. Not unless you will resign or you will end your career in a way. Alin dun sa mga branch of government? President, 6 years lang, no? Congress, ganun din. O, alin dun? Judicial branch. Once na naging Supreme Court Justice ka, Chief Justice ka, habang buhay mo na yan. Not until nagre-retire or in time of death. Nawawala yung mga Chief Justice. But nag-retire yun eh. At siyempre, may papalit. Pero habang hindi siya nagre-retire, siya pa rin yung Supreme Court Justice or Chief Justice. Unless pinapalitan siya or tinatanggal. Next. This branch of government has the power to declare a law unconstitutional. Ako, binanggit na. Ini na to. Judicial branch. Sila ang nagdi-decide kung unconstitutional or constitutional ang law. Sila yung nagdi-justify ng law eh. Next, which branch of the government carries out the laws? Ibig sabihin, carries out the law. Kasi tatlo lang naman yung pagpipilian doon sa tanong, no? Executive, legislative, and judicial. Sino raw ang carries out? Executive, sila yung nagpapatupad. Okay? Yung ginawang batas ng Congress, legislative, dadalhin sa kanya, patutupad niya to. By signing, no? The bill into a law. Yun. Next question, what are the two houses of Congress? Sir, upper house and lower house. Ano ang tawag dun? Answer? House of Representatives and the House of Senate. Or so-called house, upper house and lower house. Pero pinag-aawayan nila na, sino ba daw ang mas upper house at lower house? Sabi ng House of Representatives, sila yung upper house. Kasi ang dami raw nila. Samantalang yung Senado, ilan lang to, 24 lang ito. Bawas-bawas pa minsan, ano? Okay? But I think the upper house, I can refer it to the House of Senate. Kasi they are voted by the national eh. Ang House of Representatives, by district lang siya. Diba? Pero pag pinagsama-sama yung mga miyembro ng House of Representatives, mas marami. But hindi ganun yung sinasabi ng no? But they are actually co-equal in a way sa term upper house and lower house. But it matters, no? Kasi ang huling hantungan ng kanilang ginagawang batas ay nasa Senado. Kaya tinatawag silang House of Upper House. The House of Senate. Okay? So, Congress, dalawa yan, no? Kaya yung senator, pwede rin siyang tawaging congressman. Kasi yung Congress, naging dalawa, House of Representatives and House of Senate. Pero hindi natin tinatawag yung congressman si senador, no? Mas tinatawag natin senador. But technically, they are called as the congressman, congress people. Next, how many associate justices in the Supreme Court? Ako baka tanong sa test ito, no? Now, the associate justice is different from the chief justice. Chief justice, nag-iisa lang yan, no? Pero ilan yung kasamahan niya, justices in the Supreme Court? 14 associate justices and 1 chief justices. Kailangan ano yan, add numbers para pag nagbotohan, kung unconstitutional or constitutional batas, kailangan ano. Halimbawa, 14, no? 7 plus 7 pro, saka 7 yes, and 7 no. So, 14 siya. Kailangan may boboto na isa. Yun ang pagbobotohan ng Chief Justice. Kapag merong tie, no, sa score ng botohan. That's why they call 15 people in the Supreme Court. 14 associate, 1 Chief Justice. And that's it. I hope you learn something from the ano, no. Anyway, this is actually a second part of the 3 parts. Meron pa tayong next meeting, next video presentations regarding third part, which is the Bill of Rights. Lots of questions dun, ano. Gagawin natin practicality yung terms in the discussion of the Bill of Rights. So far, I discussed to you the democratic ideals and values. And this one is on the Constitution and the rights of the people. So yung rights of the people, that will be on the next video presentation in a form of practicality or questions, no? Para tayong nasa ano, para tayong nasa bar exam, gano'n ang natin. Okay? So after this video presentation, I'll be posting a questions regarding the 2 modules given, 5.1 and 5.2. Okay? So I hope you learned something and you can have it in replay. So this is a recorded video. Okay, thank you for attending and don't be late in submitting the assessment of these 2 video presentations. Okay? So far, ito lang muna. Thank you for attending and good luck on the questions.